honestly could be any one of these.
Sure.
And I think what we're starting to deal with here might be more what we call, and not to get technical, but a QLCS type of a tornado warning here, meaning that it's embedded within this line. So again, the Lowell area, Beaver Dam, I would take shelter from this as well. And let's go back to the reflectivity. Let's do we could turn the lightning off,
yeah,
right? Because there's a lot of lightning with this. Let's do a track, maybe a linear track a little bit here from this entire area, moving northeast at 35. We're going to get some cities drawn on here, but I want to make very clear, if you're in this tornado warning, as you're certainly getting the alerts now on your phone, many folks are likely starting to tune in into Dodge County. Take appropriate tornado precautions here, basement or lowest level of your home, getting as many walls in between you and the outside as possible. And let me be very clear, and we want to be very clear about this. Is a tornado possible out of this? Yes. Have we gotten a report of a tornado out of this? No, it is radar indicated at this point, meaning that we are not, that it is possible a tornado could drop any time. However, we have not gotten any reports of that. Now, here's the concern out of this system, is that a tornado could drop at any point, but it's completely rain wrapped, right? Look at all this rain, and you can hear it, right? Fox Lake to Beaver Dam and even Horicon. You can probably start to hear all of that thunder right now extending into southwestern parts of Dodge County. It's loud, so we're not going to necessarily know if one drops or not, which is why you need to be in your tornado-safe location right now. Again, stay there until 6:15, or you hear from us that it's clear and where we're seeing the kind of clearing area. So again, you can see from the standpoint of the arrival times here, as we head into Horicon, that's going to be shortly. I think the rotation is a little bit farther back, so the rotation end of this may be just a bit later than we're seeing on the arrival times, but this is when you're really going to start to get in on this storm now. From Horicon shortly, the Hubbard area right around 540 to 541, and then into Mayville shortly after 545, Addison closer to 6, West Bend, stay tuned. We'll see how this tracks, but right now about 6:15, if this ends up into West Bend, Addison and West Bend, you are not under this tornado warning, but we are seeing that for Beaver Dam. We are also seeing that for the Mayville area, Horicon, Juno, Eustisford as well. So, Steph, I'll toss it over to you here as well. Do you have any more information coming in?
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to go back to our velocity scan because it does look a little more intense at this point, and it's really that area in southwestern parts of the county that we're watching.
There are really two of them.
They are. It does seem, and like you said, with these QLCS storms, we got to look for those little kinks, and there are a few, so there could be multiple spin-ups.
Right, and I think that again, we don't want to get too technical with this, but there are different types of tornado warnings. There are different types of tornadoes, if you will. Sometimes they're supercellular, which is what we deal with when you're talking about just one cell, right? This one is a big blob, for lack of a better term, not very scientific there, but that's going to be this entire area and then multiple spin-up tornadoes potentially. One is going to be right in this area in southwest Dodge County, another one just a bit to the north. Can we zoom in just a little bit?
Yep.
So we are looking to the east and southeast of 151. So folks in Lowell, for example, you're right in the crux really of both of them at this point. So folks in Lowell, I would say you need to be 100% in your tornado safe location right now until this storm passes. Again, it's loud. It's going to be very loud. If there is a tornado with this, I think it's going to be embedded within those thunderstorms. So that's why this tornado warning remains in effect here for you. Stay in your tornado safe spot until 6:15 or until you know for sure that the threat has passed you. So again, nothing has been confirmed with this. And I know, and we know here, that when a tornado warning is issued, I hear from so many of our viewers that say, look, it really freaks me out. I get really anxious, really scared when a tornado warning is issued. And that is totally, totally normal. There's only one thing that you and your family need to do right now, and that's get into your tornado safe location. Whether that's a basement or whether that's the lowest level of your home, an interior bathroom, an interior closet, away from walls and windows if you can. Have the Fox Local app on your phone, because you can watch us right now if you're away from your TV on your mobile device on the Fox Local app. Again, no better time right now than to have that app, because you can have us on there just as if you're watching us on TV. Now, going back to the weather anxiety portion of this, again, you can take a few deep breaths. We don't have any confirmed tornadoes out of this, okay? And I'm not seeing anything overly alarming from a massive wedge tornado or something like that out of this, okay? That being said, we could have spin-ups with this that could potentially do damage if they develop. So that's why you need to take shelter. But again, these are radar indicated areas of rotation. That's why we have this tornado warning in effect. And Steph, I'm hearing our printer going off quite a bit here. Do we have anything new to report when it comes to...
We do have a new warning from that cell that we kind of been watching for what feels like a long time in now entering Fond du Lac County.
Okay, so this is going to scrape northwestern parts of Dodge County, primarily southwestern portions of Fond du Lac County. That's in effect until 6 o'clock. So let's be very clear here. The large warning that you see for Dodge County that scrapes Beaver Dam here right on the edge, that's in effect until 6:15, Beaver Dam, Horicon, Mayville. Now we look at this cell. This is going to be the one that kind of came through the Portage area, and that's going to be impacting portions of Columbia, Dodge, extreme northwest Dodge, southwest Fond du Lac County, and parts of southeastern Green Lake County, and that's going to run until 6 o'clock. So 6 o'clock Fond du Lac and 6:15 for this big Dodge County cell. Let's take a look at what we have going on here. And I know your eyes are going right to here, right? Because the winds are increasing with this Dodge County cell. Lowell, you need to be in your tornado safe location right now. Stephanie, I'm going to make just a quick guess here that this one is also radar indicated as we look to the northeast, or do we have anything confirmed with this one?
There was a report of a funnel cloud in far northeastern Columbia County, so that is what actually prompted that warning to be extended. It does look like there are people in the area that will be watching, so looking for information, let's see, on that hopefully here shortly.
Can we zoom into that? Because this looks different than what we're dealing with in Dodge County, where this rotation, and we are southeast of Kingston, if you're familiar with the area, we are just southwest of Markesan, and that is, again, moving to the east-northeast. This looks a little different from a rotation standpoint in that it's very clustered together. Can we go back over to the reflectivity real quick? Because I just want to, so this one looks to be a bit more cellular in nature, Steph, than the other one, which is a little bit broader of a rotation. So that's likely where we're, and it's good that there are quite a few spotters and chasers that are in the region with this event. The good news with that is we're likely going to get more reports, and that's what we hope. And it sounds like a funnel cloud with that one. So that one is out of our viewing area at this point. But if you're in southwestern parts of Fond du Lac County or extreme northwest Dodge County, you need to be on alert for that. But I think the Markesan area is likely going to be more impacted by that in the short term. So we're going to keep a close eye on that. And I also want to keep a close eye on northeastern Columbia County in this area here as well with that. Beaver Dam, let's zoom this out even more if we can, because I also want to get an idea of what's going on with both the Lake Geneva activity, the northern Waukesha County cells, as well, as we are still continuing with a hail threat now heading into southern parts of Washington County. That's a severe thunderstorm warning there. Nothing severe with Lake Geneva. Do we have a new warning coming out?
There is a new severe thunderstorm warning for Fond du Lac County, so it kind of goes hand in hand with
that one. Let's take a look at that real quick, just to kind of give folks who may just be joining us a better idea of what's going on. So the Waukesha County severe thunderstorm warning, that's in effect for hail. Then we have a tornado warning until 6:15 for Dodge County. That's the biggest concern right now. And now we have, it looks like, a new severe thunderstorm warning in effect for parts of Fond du Lac County until 6:45. And that also goes back into Green Lake County, surrounded by that tornado warning. Let's broaden the view out a little bit more, Steph, if we could. I just want to kind of get an idea of what's going on down to the south. Good news is it looks like that cell that was near Rockford that's now up into Walworth County has not organized a whole lot, so that's good from the standpoint that we don't have any additional warnings right now, but this is what's going to be coming in here over the course of the next couple of hours. Let's take a broad view, if we can, Steph, of the satellite and radar here. And you see those cells down to the southwest. Again, movement is to the northeast, right? So this is what we're going to be watching in addition to any additional development between now and 8 o'clock tonight for the Milwaukee area. So of immediate concern is Dodge County. You're under a tornado warning and you need to be in your tornado safe spot until 6:15 for that rotation, which we're going to look at more specifically in a moment. Washington County, some hail for you. At this point, it's not looking like major hail like we had in the Eagle area, but still could see some hail up to about the size of quarters or 1 inch in diameter there. And then we've got to watch for this additional development because that's what's going to swing through between now and 8 o'clock tonight. So we are not in any way out of the woods. A tornado watch continues until 10 o'clock tonight. I think this Dodge County storm is going to continue to move to the northeast, possibly clipping northwestern parts of Washington County here with time as well. And there's a new severe thunderstorm warning just coming out. This is all of Washington County.
Correct. The rest of Washington County now added into that severe thunderstorm warning as that cell continues to move northward.
Couple of things with this one now. Let's take a look, if we could, Stephanie, at first of all, the hail. I want to look at this with the Washington County.
Can I actually cut you off just real quick?
Please.
Because we are starting to get a few more details about Dodge County. Emergency management in Dodge County does say there are trees down in Beaver Dam. Sounds like there's some other damage too, including some wires down. And then speaking of hail, they are also reporting pretty large hail in that area, ping pong size. So not only is that area tornado warned, but they are also dealing, number one, with some of that very large hail and damage now that we know.
And where was the ping pong hail?
It was in Beaver Dam.
That was also Beaver Dam.
Correct.
Okay. All right. So let's go to that here in a moment. One of my concerns with this Washington County severe thunderstorm warning that's coming out until 6:30, 60-mile-per-hour winds and half-dollar-sized hail, but they're also now, the National Weather Service is also now putting what they call a tornado possible tag on that. So if we can take a look, let's look at the rotation. Let's just go right to that because I want to see if that's concerning in Dodge County, and we're going to be splitting this up in detail in just a moment.
And you know what? They are now, let's see, I'm sorry to keep cutting you off
you're
here.
Fine.
A possible tornado debris signature near Lowell.
Okay.
So let me take a look at, number one, we'll zoom in on velocity. I mean, it's clear. It's clear right now that you can see that there is very strong rotation in this area now. And then we're going to look at a new tool. This is what we look at. It's called correlation coefficient. That's the fancy term for it. This is where we look for a tornado debris signature. And as I zoom in a little bit more, it's messy. It's kind of hard to tell.
Yeah.
Tom, if you agree with me?
Yeah, that's tough. But it's certainly possible. Can we rotate this or animate this over the last, let's say, 10, 15 minutes?
Sure.
Let's see if we can see it here. I mean, maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
The rotation's definitely increasing here. And again, Lowell, we've talked about you specifically here tonight. Stay in your tornado safe spot. And if you are in any locations to the northeast of Lowell as well, you need to be in your tornado safe location. Mayville, you might be wondering, what about us? You need to be in your tornado safe location as well, although the rotation aspect of it is still a bit far from you. Let's take a look at the rotation again here, Steph. Yeah, so it looks, it's broad, but there are a couple of concerns I have. One is going to be right here. Just to the west of Hustisford. So folks in Hustisford, you need to be in your tornado safe location here because that is a bit concerning. Then we have this one here. I think this is probably the main one
that
they're referring to here.
Which is now northeast.
Yes, northeast of Lowell. So let's go back to the reflectivity. Juno, you need to, again, you're right on the doorstep of this, or this is right on your doorstep. Let's go back to the reflectivity and turn the lightning off and try to get maybe a bit more of an idea of the kinks within this line. Yeah, see right there?
Absolutely.
Yep, I think that's going to be the main concern. But you see what we mean here? How there are more kinks within this line. And that's, so in terms of Beaver Dam, just kind of peeling this back a little bit, there has been some large hail and some damage reported in Beaver Dam. My assumption based on this is going to be that that would be more straight line wind type damage.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you. I do think it's that smaller area just northeast of Lowell that is the primary concern right now. But even with straight line wind damage, that could still be very strong.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it could still very well be EF1 or EF0 type tornado damage. One's rotating, one is not.
Yeah.
So, again, Lowell, stay in your tornado safe spot. Stay there until we can get the back edge of the storm away from you. Juno, you really need to be in your tornado safe spot right now because, again, it's going to be this kinked area here that we are concerned with coming in for you. But let's go back to the tornado warning itself, just so we can get an idea of where that warning is in effect for and who needs to be in their shelter right now. So let's zoom that in, a little bit here. So Beaver Dam, you're right on the edge of that, but it's really the Lowell area and then points to the northeast from here. So Hustisford and Mayville, I would be in your tornado safe spot right now. Juno, you're right in the smack dab middle of this as well. This is in effect for another half an hour until 6:15 tonight. And again, there's been reports of damage in the Beaver Dam area. There's also been the potential in the Lowell area of seeing potentially some damage. Stephanie talked about that debris ball that we look at. I didn't see one hugely evident on radar, but what that means is if there is damage, let's say there are tree branches or pieces of a roof that are flying through the air, the radar beam is picking up on that. And then we're able to use a specialized tool within the radar to note that flying debris. That's what we're looking at when we're talking about a debris ball. If you hear that on social media, that's what's being referred to there. That's a possibility here, certainly, with this as well, with these radar indicated kinks in the line, if you will. But I think they're going to be kind of coming and going over the course of the next couple of minutes here into Mayville and into Hustisford as well. Let me step out of the way just to take a look. We're getting a lot of reports here, Steph, as well, of about quarters, hail to the size of quarters in Washington County. And into back when it was over Dousman as well. So good news with that is, I mean, bad news is it's hailing into Washington County.
Right.
Good news is the hail has come down since it was in the Eagle area. So just to kind of refresh, and I think this is an excellent representation, Steph, of what's happening here in Dodge County, because when you peel away the loudness, right, of the storm, now we're looking at the hail potential here, and that gives you an idea of just how broad the core of this storm is. So folks in Dodge County, again, as of this point, Steph, am I fair to say we don't have any confirmed touchdowns, but we have had reports of damage?
Correct, absolutely. And there is still some pretty strong rotation now west of Juno. So right, you know, east of Lowell, now it's west of Juno. So it's still there, absolutely. I have not seen any reports of a tornado on the ground or a funnel cloud, but we do know that the rotation is still pretty strong in that area.
Yeah, it's still there. So that's where we stand right now for folks in Juno, folks in Dodge County, anywhere from Hustisford, Mayville, Juno, Lowell. I would still stay in your tornado safe spot. Do we have confirmation? No. Have we had some sporadic reports of damage? Yes. Could this thing be dropping a tornado right now? Yes, but it's covered in rain if it is. So that's something that, that's why you need to be in your tornado safe spot until 6:15 tonight. Make sure to have the Fox Local app. If you can't get us on your TV, if you're too far away from it, you can get it on your mobile device. So again, stay in your tornado safe location here until we know for sure that that warning will be expiring. And right now, let's go to rotation real quick, just to, it's going to be right here. And Steph, that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, literally just west and southwest of Juno. It's a little broad, but it's not right. I mean, right here would be the concern, right? I mean, you're literally talking about, as 26 kind of winds around and goes south, you're literally just west of 26. So this thing is going to pass right over, if not just to the north of Juno within the next 5 minutes. So that's why folks in Juno need to be in your tornado safe spot. Again, do we know that this is dropping a tornado? No, we don't, because it's shrouded in rain, but it's certainly a possibility given that this rotation is evident on radar. Now, the question is how long will this last, right? A lot of folks are probably wondering, is this going to last a long time? No, it's probably only going to last a couple of minutes and then quickly move off to the northeast. But let's zoom this out a little bit because, oh, there we go. Okay. So we look at this together. Again, just on the north side of Juno.
National Weather Service, excuse me. Let me just show you correlation coefficient again as I get tongue-tied. This is what I was trying to say. A new tornado debris signature is now, with this new scan, being observed. So now radar indicated tornado.
So so do you see how it goes from kind of the reddish area, and now you have yellows and the greens just on the north side of Juno? That's what's being referred to as that debris, right? Because the radar is able to pick up essentially the shape of rain and the shape of other debris that might be flying through the air. So that's the concern here, is that this could be debris making its way through Juno. So again, it's over you right now, Juno. Stay in your tornado safe location. This is only going to last for just a couple of minutes here as it's crossing 26 right now. And then folks to the northeast of Juno, the Hubbard area, Mayville, I know you're still a ways from that, but you definitely need to be in your tornado safe location in the Mayville, Theresa areas with time here potentially as well. So Mayville, Hubbard, you need to be in your safe spot. Juno, it's going right over you right now. And again, can we put that into motion maybe over the last 5 or 10 minutes?
Sure.
Steph, I'd like to see, because I think that just redeveloped.
It did. It strengthened basically in that last scan.
Yep. And what was interesting, if we go back to the velocity with this, is you can see how it tightened just as it was pushing over 26, right? Is the way that it looked there. So again, yeah. So I think if there is a tornado with this, there are really two potential locations. I think this is the most concerning one, that's going to be directly over or just to the north of Juno. And again, we need to be careful here, because as we're looking at this, we're looking at the latest radar scan, right? But the radar does a scan. It's every couple of minutes that we get an update. So it's not just sitting still, right? It's moving at 35, 40 miles per hour. So it's going to be moving very quickly. But again, this area in Juno is the concern. And if you go northeast with that, it's going to get pretty close to the Mayville area or just south within the next couple of minutes as well. There's another potential concern here just to the north. So there are really two areas of potential rotation here. But do you see how that changed from the broad rotation, the blues, greens, and the reds, to this area right here? And then when we correlate that with the radar damage, if you will, the damage indicator of the potential, what we call the correlation coefficient on radar, the fact that those two are matching up makes it more likely that there's a potential tornado. Steph, do you have more coming in?
Just confirmation from the National Weather Service about that second small area of rotation that you already pointed out. They're very, very close together. And then also just a ton of hail reports still, even within this area. So it's almost like a double punch here between the actual rotation and still the very large hail.
Yeah, and they kind of go hand in hand.
They do.
Right? When you're talking about large hail and potential tornadoes, Huracan, again, you're right in this here. So we definitely need to be in our tornado safe locations, especially given the fact that according to radar and all the different tools we have, this is likely a tornado that's on the ground or could be on the ground right now. So that's going to come very close to Huracan, very close to Mayville. So, you know, again, it's rain wrapped, and we don't want you going outside and looking at this thing. And I know that it's the social media generation, right? TikTok and all these things. Don't go outside and try to look at this. A, it's a bad idea in general, but B, this is rain wrapped. So you're going to be just in the pouring rain, and then all of a sudden, poof, it's there. and you don't want to be outside and then all of a sudden have debris coming at you at 80, 90, 100 miles an hour, right? So that's why you need to be away from exterior walls and windows in a basement if you have one, and just ride this thing out here for a few minutes. And, you know, I do think that, again, we could be dealing with, I think this one's weakening a little bit now, just to the northern end of this, Steph.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Appears to be weakening a bit. And then the one north of Juno, that would be the one if we do have a tornado with this, that's where it would be. Let's broaden this out here a little bit for you. And we're going to take you towards the Slinger area right now. So that's going to be back into Washington County. We've got a picture coming in there from Slinger, and this is our DOT camera. Again, just showing the wet roads here. We've had some hail reported in the Washington County area. At this point, 1-inch diameter hail out of this, which is to the size of quarters. We are not too concerned at this point with any rotation out of it, although I know the National Weather Service has been watching Washington County closely, and I'm just looking off screen here as well. Still looking okay with that. Nothing too concerning jumping out at me right now. There are actually 2 cells in Washington County that are going to be merging here shortly. And so we've got a couple of those cells just west of Menominee Falls in that area. Let's, Steph, maybe broaden the view out to southeastern Wisconsin because we have several cells. And again, I don't want to diminish the fact if you are in Horicon, if you're in Mayville, you need to be in your tornado safe spot. I just want to give a broad view and then we're going to get right back into it here. This is the most concerning cell on the map, obviously, in central Dodge County, right over Juno right now. We have several other cells. This one is severe in Washington County. No tornadic activity at this point with it, but hail to about the size of quarters. We have other cells popping up, Waukesha into Racine counties. These are not severe, but will be impacting Milwaukee here within a little bit. Lake Geneva, we're lucky here that this is really weakened, which is great news because it's been hot in the Lake Geneva area today. So we'll see if that re-intensifies at all. But so far in our lakeshore communities, as we continue with that cooler wind coming in out of the east, that in one sense may be helping things in our lakeshore counties. We'll see if that holds. Can we broaden that view down to the south here a little bit? Because this is what I think concerns us the most near the Rockford area. So at least as of right now, our lakeshore communities look pretty good. I think this is what is yet to come, potentially, for our area. And again, you see that development north of Rockford, south of Janesville, near Beloit. We'll see if that stuff starts to take hold a little bit more. So it's now to 8 o'clock of the concerns. We're not out of the woods by any stretch. We've had a lot of questions today. Will the lake help us here with the cooler lake air? In the short term, it appears to be. Hopefully that will remain the case, but we can't count on that because, as we're seeing in Dodge County, for example, these storms really get going. It's not going to matter that, you know, half a county is cooler. It's just going to kind of plow right through. So that's going to be a concern between now and 8 o'clock tonight. So nobody is out of the woods here by any stretch for the next 2 hours or so. Let's go back now, hang on a minute, go back to Walworth. You see what I mean? How it weakened, Stephanie?
It weakened and then strengthened.
And poof, and there may be a boundary right here, which, and Michael, I'll get to the hail video here in just a moment. There may be a boundary that it's interacting with. And do you see what I mean?
Yes.
How it weakens and then boom, one radar scan later, it starts to perk up. And we're seeing that with some of these other cells. So literally, you see that? Just within the last 2 minutes.
And some of these could potentially be popping on the lake breeze, but I doubt it's as far west as Walworth.
Yeah,
but some of these getting closer to Milwaukee County could be.
So they could be perking up now a little bit, including just east of Waukesha. So we're watching those, not severe from this end. Let's go back to Dodge County. Let's take that hail video. Michael, where was this again? Ottawa? Okay, so this was a viewer video in Ottawa. This was from earlier. This is the cell. Look at that hail. My goodness. Yeah, you see it bouncing? That's big hail. That is big hail in Ottawa. I would say about golf ball size, potentially, with that. So to our viewer there that sent that in, thank you for sending that into us from Karen in Ottawa. Thank you for Sharon. I'm sorry, Sharon. Look at that hail. I mean, do you see it bouncing?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's big hail.
And that's just been the trend of all of the storms. Here's another one, a close up. It's always fascinating to see how just the formation of these hailstones and just the shape in general. But again, that has been the trend of all of the storms you've seen as they originated out west in western Wisconsin. Over 2-inch hail was reported in a handful of communities. Here locally, we've even seen some big hail. And by the way, if you have pictures, you can send them in through our Fox Local app. We would love to see those pictures. Of course, if you are able to take them in general, please be safe. Do not go outside. Remember, hail can hurt you, especially when it is this large. So if you can safely take a picture, we would love to see them. Send them in through our Fox Local app. And Tom, there is a new severe thunderstorm warning.
Yeah, right around that tornado warning, right?
Right.
In Dodge County. That runs till 6:15. I'm going to step back. I hear a printer going off again. It's probably a storm report coming in here, and that was from Hubertus. Just in within the last 5 minutes or so of 1-inch diameter hail again. And so that's Washington.
We just got information from the emergency manager in Dodge County that a tornado did touch down west of Mayville per the fire department. So that is now something
to just come in. Let's go back to that rotation, because that's what we have been watching. And we've been talking about Lowell at first, then Juno, then moving into Horicon, and now west. So this must have just come in because this is just west of Mayville. Okay, so that is a confirmed tornado touchdown. We can say now.
I believe so, yes.
Okay. So that kind of ups this a little bit. Again, we've been talking about our different radar tools. Now this is a confirmed tornado on the ground to the west of Mayville. So if you are in Mayville, of course, if you're at Horicon, you need to be in your tornado safe spot. Are they extending a warning, or was that an old one coming in?
That's just covering the severe thunderstorm warning.
Okay. Northeast of Mayville.
Correct.
Okay, got it. All right, so let's focus on, so this is the area of rotation. Can we go back to the debris tracker here? And again, want to emphasize, folks in Mayville in particular, there is this, and it looks like maybe right here.
Yeah.
Again, it's tough to tell here.
Let me loop it for you.
Yeah, let's see if we can get an idea. Yeah, that might.
So almost approaching Mayville as we speak, potentially.
Yep. So just pulling out of Horicon, heading to Mayville, or maybe just south of Mayville here. Let's go back to the rotation, because that allows us to peer in here, keeping in mind that the radar rotation may be delayed by a minute or two, right? Because the radar needs to update or spin around and scan. So let's be clear here. There is a tornado on the ground, or was on the ground a short time ago, to the west of Mayville. So speaking specifically to folks in Mayville, do not go outside and try to look at this. Get into your basement or lowest level of your home, getting as many walls in between you and the outside as possible. And you need to stay in that shelter for the next 15 minutes. And again, this is a confirmed tornado now that has been on the ground, and we've got just a couple areas that continue of rotation right within this line. So stay in your tornado safe spot into Mayville until this area of rotation passes, more notably until the tornado warning expires, which is at 6:15. So we're watching this extremely closely now as we have a confirmed tornado on the ground to the west of Mayville. Steph, I know we're getting some more reports coming in.
Yeah, still a lot of hail reports. Nothing new from this specific area, but clearly the fire department is on this and watching it, as that's who we did get the original information from. And I believe we do have a new tornado warning. So I do want to go back to our watches and warnings map.
Okay, so this is going to include...
So they extended this current warning, it looks like, into far northwestern Washington County, as well as southeastern Fond du Lac County. So it is for this current tornado-warned cell. And we're just looking at the red boxes here. So you can see places like Lomira, Iron Ridge, on into, far northwestern Washington County. It looks like Kewaskum is barely included in this, but it's now an extension, especially since we do have a confirmed tornado on the ground. And it looks like the latest from the National Weather Service, they're confirming a debris signature again, which we've seen, back and forth here. So we can go back and look at that real quick. And it's really passing right over Mayville as we speak. It's a lot more clear now, I think.
Yeah, and let's just read what the National Weather Service has said here. Yeah, it is much clearer, Stephanie, and it is Mayville. So that means that there is debris that has been lofted into the air that is flying over the Mayville area right now. National Weather Service at 6:01, so 2 minutes ago, a confirmed tornado was located over Mayville, moving northeast at 45 miles per hour. A damaging tornado and hail up to 2 inches in diameter, which is greater than golf ball size, moving through Mayville right now. So again, it's over you, Mayville. Stay in your tornado safe spot. Let this pass. It's going to come through quickly, but let this pass. If your power goes out, have your phone with the FOX6 our Fox Local app on there so you can watch us. But again, our concern obviously is elevated here as we are seeing both spotters have confirmed this now. Radar has confirmed this with debris flying through the air in the Mayville area that the radar is picking up on. Again, this tornado warning in effect until 6:30. This is now where we need to have folks into northwest Washington County, including into Kewaskum, in your tornado safe location. Theresa, you are next in line for this one as well, as this is going to head straight to the northeast. And Steph, if that's a new warning, feel free to stop me here. But again, moving to the northeast at 45 miles per hour. So let's do this, Steph. Let's do a track. Let's go back to the rotation and do a track from the rotation again, because if you're looking at this
very clear now.
Yes, if you're looking at this just on the radar, what we call reflectivity, you're not going to see it because it's a big blob of thunderstorms, right? So we've got to peer into this. This thing's right over Mayville, Steph, and it has gotten much stronger just within the last scan or two.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just catching up. It looks like on our chat system where we do chat with the National Weather Service. Again, just confirming tornado is still on the ground. So as it's passing through Mayville, so something to still take very, very seriously if you're in this area. And as Tom mentioned now, as we're looking towards the northeast into southern Fond du Lac County, as well as northwestern Washington County.
So this is going to go likely very, very close to the Theresa area as we go through the next couple of minutes as well. So it is imperative that folks in northeastern Dodge County, right on the border here, and we're talking about Interstate 41 as well. Let's zoom in, Steph, right on this area, because I want to be very, very clear here when it comes to where this is going. And if we could, I want to loop this as well, if we could, maybe over the last 5 minutes or so. Yeah, perfect. We're going to see if this continues more northeast, or if it continues a little more east, because sometimes what will happen with this rotation, it'll jog a bit east. I'm telling you, Theresa, you need to be in your basement, lowest level of your home. This tornado is on the ground. And again, you noticed how this elevates concerns now, because this is not just some rotation on the radar that we've been tracking. This is on the ground. It is confirmed that this has been on the ground, likely for several minutes, and it is tightening in the rotation department here right over Mayville. There has been confirmed debris with this as well. And we're bringing this up because we need you in your tornado safe location right now. If you have friends or family in the Theresa area, send them a text. They hopefully are aware now that, you know, they've been getting the cell phone alerts and so on. But again, folks in the Theresa area need to be in your tornado safe location immediately out of this. This tornado has crossed likely through Mayville at this point. And I'm going to again talk to our producers here, to our assignment desk. We need you folks to be reaching out here to folks in Dodge County if we do have any damage, as has been noted on the radar in the Mayville area. So again, Dodge County Emergency Management has been great in terms of getting us information. We will hopefully be finding out here shortly about any specific damage that may have occurred in the Mayville area. So rest assured, we're going to be efforting that here for you. But again, as this tornado remains on the ground, anywhere between Mayville and Theresa right now, this tornado is approaching. Lamira, you should be in your tornado safe location as well. It may go just to your south, but you need to be safe here into Lamira. Now, as we go into northwestern Washington County and southwestern portions of Fond du Lac County, really right into Kewaskum, you need to be in your tornado safe spot as well. So anywhere from Kewaskum to Lamira, into Mayville, Theresa, everybody needs to be into your tornado safe spot. I'm sorry, Michael, go ahead. That would be great. A cam near the Theresa area. Let's go ahead and take that here as well. So it looks like this is a still cam that updates every little bit here. Yeah, so you can see the traffic moving across. The storm is not here yet, but it is on the way. So again, Lamira, Campbellsport, Theresa, you're right in the target of this right now, and this is a confirmed tornado on the ground. If you are in all the way to Eden or Dundee in these areas, in the Fond du Lac County area as well, you need to be in your tornado safe spot. But we're talking about, this is, Stephanie, you know, let's zoom, well, there you go. That just answered our question.
Right, exactly. So continuing to move, it looks like maybe the main core just north.
Move through Theresa.
Right.
Yeah, or maybe just slightly north. Okay, so this moved from directly over Mayville to essentially over the Theresa area. So let's zoom this out a little bit, because Mayville would appear now. Can we go to the reflectivity? I want to see if we can clear Mayville out of this, because it would appear, I think Mayville, you should stay in your tornado safe location for a few more minutes. Don't you think, Steph?
Yeah, because this storm, even on the backside now, it's still at least packing a punch. So
yeah, I would.
Just to be safe.
Yeah, at least another 10, 15 minutes, Mayville, just to be safe here. And again, this is concerning. So we're right over I-41.
Correct.
South of Lamira here. Let's zoom into that and go back to the rotation.
And I just want to tell you real quick, Tom, we are receiving now from Dodge County Emergency Management a couple different reports of damage. One from the Mayville Engineering Company.
Okay.
If you're familiar with that specific building, there is damage to the building. And then near the high school, Clark Street.
Okay.
So if you're familiar with this area, I mean, it's just all the more reason to still shelter.
Yes.
Because you're not really sure what type of damage you're going to encounter.
Right. And again, we don't have any more specifics right now on that in terms of, we know it was debris. Hopefully it's minor debris is what we hope, but here's something that's really important to say as well that we don't typically say, because we don't get a lot of tornadoes around here. Stay out of the damage zone. The emergency crews are going to be, going out assessing the damage, things like that. We don't need streets clogged with people, right? Stay out of the way of that and let the crews handle what they need to handle. If we can as well, maybe let's check in on the power outages as well. So is this the Theresa cam? Okay, so you see how this has, this is Lamira. Okay. So this is Lamira looking north. So again, just south of here, look at all the rain here. Just south of here is where the rotation is, and it's right over I-41. And I don't know if folks can hear us, if you have the Fox Local app in your car, which if you have it on your phone, you can listen to us in your car. If you know of anybody that is traveling just south of Lamira right now, you need to be texting them and saying, hey, there is a confirmed tornado that is about to cross Interstate 41 just near the Theresa area. But look at this. Look at the wind. Look at how strong these winds are right now. Look at these semis that are heading right. This is incredible.
Wow.
Yeah.
And pulling over now, you can see that specific semi. So that's a very telling sign.
Right. Let's go back to the velocity on the radar.
And you know what? There is actually a new tornado warning now. I zoomed out a little bit. Brandon and western Fond du Lac County.
Yeah, look at that.
So you can see another little area of rotation that is picked up here just over the last couple of minutes.
Okay, so now we have two areas. This, Stephanie, near Theresa, it seems to be getting even stronger.
Yes, I agree.
Point.
Weakening maybe a touch, but then just re-strengthening.
Right, and that's the thing, is these cycle, right? So they'll strengthen and then they'll weaken. You saw from that vantage point there, from the interstate a moment ago, how strong those winds are and how rainy it is. These are rain wrapped. You're not going to see them coming until you're pretty much right on it. And again, yeah, you see that semi that is pulled over there. They're driving right into it.
Yeah.
I mean, they're driving, if we're looking north here, they're driving right into this thing. So this guy, very, very smart, guy or gal, very smart to have pulled over because, although I will say this, we don't recommend, if you can pull over to the shoulder or side of the road, do it. Don't stop in the middle of the road. A lot of people, especially down in Oklahoma and some of these areas, will stop their car underneath a bridge because of hail, when hail's falling. But what's the problem with that? Well, now traffic gets backed up, now you get accidents, and people, emergency vehicles can't get through, things like that. So don't ever just stop your car. If you can pull over, good, but don't stop underneath a bridge or something like that and block traffic. I'm sorry, Michael, go ahead. They did. Okay, so we're being told the camera that we just showed you in the Lamira area is down. So the camera is no longer broadcasting, which is telling, because that likely means, and I don't know precisely where that camera was. I mean, if Lamira's right here, it could have been closer to that source of rotation stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. But at the very least, again, a very telling sign that at least very strong wind associated with this storm made its way on through. If you don't mind, Tom, we have a handful of severe thunderstorm warnings.
So I know Waukesha and
go ahead and zoom this out a little bit to kind of catch up on what else we've got here. Notice how we have a few down towards the south, Walworth, northwestern Racine County, a good chunk of Waukesha County. Got northeastern Dodge County as well. So we clearly are seeing plenty more thunderstorms. I know we've been focusing in on the tornado-warned cell near the Theresa area and Lomira, but let's check in on some of these other severe thunderstorm warnings that have since popped in the last, we'll say, 5-10 minutes. We've got a severe thunderstorm warning. I believe this is probably the one from Waukesha down into Walworth County until about 7 o'clock. And then up towards the north a little bit more, we'll say probably the West Bend area, Washington County, over into Dodge County about 6:30, and then we still have those 2 tornado warnings, one from northeastern Dodge County into parts of southern Fond du Lac and far northwestern Washington County until 6:30. And this was that new tornado warning that the rotation was in far western Fond du Lac County near the Brandon area or just off towards the west. That tornado warning goes until 6:45. I know it's hard to remember all of these times. Just stay in your safe place, I'd say, for at least the next 30 minutes to an hour, especially if you're in those tornado warned areas. The map is still lighting up. There is a ton of lightning. There is still a ton of development when it comes to thunderstorm activity, especially now, closing in on some of our lakeshore communities, which we've been quiet so far today. I know we're hearing rumbles here at the station in Brown Deer. It is very windy as I look outside right now. Most of our storm reports in these areas, Waukesha down to Walworth, have been hail and large hail. We've already seen reports of over 2-inch hail at times over the last hour or so as these storms really started firing. So large hail, in addition to spin-up tornadoes, going to be a possibility still as we're heading into our 6:15 time frame. All the way through 8 o'clock, we are still expecting thunderstorms. So just a closer look at radar reflectivity. Again, a lot of lightning and a lot of thunderstorm activity up towards the north, but let's look down towards the south where we haven't really been focusing. I mean, the Milwaukee Metro dealing with a thunderstorm as we speak, and notice how this then just extends southward into parts of southern Waukesha County, western Racine County, down to the Lake Geneva area and south of the Illinois state line. As we have been watching these storms continue to fire. This is really right on time as to what we were expecting. And look at this too, Tom. Look at the development behind this main line.
And that's likely the cold front. This is going to be interesting because what we've seen, Stephanie, and we talked about this, how remember the storms were weakening over Lake Geneva, and then boom, as you mentioned, right on time, they start blowing up.
Right.
And that's concerning.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, because
and look,
those are more
it's
cells.
Another line just starting to form. You can start to see some reflectivities being picked up here in eastern Dane, as well as Rock County. And look at down to south of Rockford.
Look at this, and look at how it's moving. You see what I mean?
Yes.
So this is moving
This is now
up our
moving
way.
northeast.
Right. And so, and these, let me go back to the warnings, those are all severe as well. So, you know, I know we're focused on the tornado, which is likely on the ground, and we're going to go back to that here.
Sure.
But we just wanted to give you the broad view, because I know you're saying in Milwaukee and Waukesha County, hey, we got some good thunderstorms here, and you do. You've got some hail with this. We need to be watching and really kind of keep an eagle eye here. Okay, in fact, brand new, just coming in now, Ixonia, 2.5-inch diameter hail. That is tennis ball sized hail just coming in here. Let's take you to the hail tracker, because again, and this is why we need to be very focused here on, you know, well, we're focused on the tornado, which we need to be.
Sure.
There are so many threats here with these storms.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take you in to the northern portions of Jefferson County. Let's take a look here. I don't have an exact time frame on that, but that's going to be likely recent, because as we go back to right there is when the storm was over Ixonia within the last, look at that, you see the purple?
Yep, absolutely.
Yep, that was tennis ball sized hail that likely went just north of Oconomowoc, and now that is what we are seeing into the Ashippun area. So here, let me turn the lightning off here, because this is a big deal.
This is what we're looking at right here for some of that large hail.
Erin and Hartford, tennis ball sized hail. This is a big deal. Erin and Hartford, you need to get, you know, if you have a car that you can quickly move into the garage.
Because it is still just off towards the southwest, but remember, these storms are moving quickly.
Yep, so that's very, very concerning. That's huge hail. So again, any of these cells can perk up like that. There could be a little hail core here.
Yeah, you can see it.
Yep, to the northwest of Burlington, west of Rochester, near the Honey Lake area. And then we're going to be watching more of this, and then all these cells down in Illinois.
Sure.
So, yeah, so hail's a huge, that's massive. I mean, that's a big deal. We need to go back, though, to the tornado because a couple of things here. Hearing from the National Weather Service about this possible tornado debris signature south of Lamira, and just trying to look here to see if I'm not really seeing that anymore, which is good. But is that, Michael, if you can hear me, is that camera still out? Did that come back on at all? Okay, we'll check and see if that Lamira cam, which I'm hearing was southeast of Lamira. So that could have actually been in association with that tornado that was on the ground. Let's go back to the, again, there's a lot going on, right, all at once here. And so we've got to try to hit each one as we can. It does appear to me that this rotation has weakened a little bit, Steph.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree with you there.
But again, still an active tornado warning. I think Kewaskum, let's go back to the warnings. Has Kewaskum been pulled out of that? Let's see. You're still in it. It would appear to me that Kewaskum is, it's probably north of Kewaskum.
Yes.
Stay in your shelter, Kewaskum, for a little bit longer while we kind of get it all figured out. But my concern is more Fond du Lac than Washington counties.
Yeah, I think the Campbellsport area, just west of Campbellsport, but I do agree that that's weakening, so that's a good sign.
Yes, so it's right over 67 here, but it looks like it is weakening. I mean, there's still something there east of Lamira, but it's not anywhere near what it was, which is good news.
And hopefully that trend continues, but it is worth paying attention to with the fact that these have a history of weakening and strengthening again very quickly.
Let's go up to Brandon as well, now east of Brandon. As there's a tornado warning with that. That also appears to be getting
a little messy.
Yes, a little messier now as well, which, by the way, that's messier in this case is good. But, you know, again, these are several tornado warnings coming in. Just got the report of that tennis ball sized hail.
And we have, and I'm actually going to step out, not outside, but I'm going to look at our weather deck, because it sounds like we might have a little bit. Well, we
have a new severe thunderstorm warning just out for Milwaukee and Ozaukee County.
Sure. Just a little bit of small pea-sized here at the station.
Okay. Let's just take a look at this, because this is a new severe thunderstorm warning for Milwaukee County. So this is downtown Milwaukee, stretching right over to the ballpark, State Fairgrounds, and then up to the north into the Mequon area as well. This is in effect until 7 o'clock. This is a severe thunderstorm warning, and this is for hail up to quarter size, so to the size of a quarter, 1 inch in diameter, and winds to 60 miles per hour. So again, this includes Milwaukee, this includes the North Shore area, Shorewood, Glendale, Whitefish Bay, Bayside, Fox Point, Brown Deer, you name it, here in these northern communities, and then extending up into the Mequon area. Looks like Grafton, you're probably in Cedarburg, you're right on the edge of that here, and then it's extending westward right along the interstate right to the Waukesha County state line. So that's going to include you folks in the West Dallas area as well, and Wauwatosa. And again, I mentioned State Fair Park as well. That's in effect until 7 o'clock tonight. I'm sorry, could you say that again? Excellent.
Oh,
okay, let's go to Kale, our truck. Kale Zimney, and he is in the town of Erin. That's the monster. Oh, look at this.
Oh, wow.
Wow. All right, and boy, are we raining out here on our weather deck.
I checked a few times. We had, oh, and the tornado warning has been extended.
Okay, so now, okay.
So let's go.
Kale, keep that shot up. That's Holy Hill right there. You can see Holy Hill.
Right in the distance. Look at those clouds.
Yeah. All right, new tornado warning, Sheboygan County. You're in this as well. Let me grab it. Let's go back to the radar and the warnings. Busy night here.
All right, here's the latest. You can see that that tornado warning has now been extended into the rest of eastern Fond du Lac County, as well as now western Sheboygan County.
Yep, and that is in effect until 7 o'clock, and then a new severe thunderstorm warning for Milwaukee and Racine and parts of southeast Waukesha County. So a lot going on here, many, many warnings. That's the new severe thunderstorm warning. That's in effect until 7 for 60-mile-per-hour winds and half-dollar-sized hail with this one down there. But let's talk about the tornado warning, as that obviously takes precedence here. Liz, this is a good night to have the Fox 6 Storm Center app, because everything is popping up, right? And the Fox Local app, make sure to have that, because if your power goes out, you can still get us. There's a lot to cover. Now, this new tornado warning is in effect for eastern Fond du Lac County and northwest Sheboygan County. That runs until 7 o'clock tonight. This is that rotation we've been telling you about near Campbellsport, or about 10 miles north of Kewaskum, and that's moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. Where are we here? Oh, this is, oh my goodness, look at this. So we're right in Byron right now. So here we are, really, look at this, smack dab in the middle of this. So here we are in Byron, that is in southern Fond du Lac County. Right along that, what you're looking at here is Interstate 41, and we are at County F. And so this is going to be just to the north of Lamira right now. There is a lot of lightning, as you can see from this vantage point, as it kind of comes in and out. And look at that lightning. Look, and look at the wind.
Yeah, absolutely.
And my guess is that's hail. I mean, you're literally right in the core of this thing right now, right in that hail core. And in terms of, let's keep this shot up, because this is very close to that. It's just on the back side of the area of rotation. But yeah, that is particularly a nasty one there. Look at that.
Even with some weakening, it is still a nasty storm, and it has a history of producing tornadoes. So
couple of things, Steph. Sorry not to cut you off there. I'm watching an area west of West Bend that we need to be paying very close attention to. You see the red and the green there east of Addison. So that's going to be right on the highway west of West Bend. No tornado warning at this point for you, but we need to watch that very closely. A new severe thunderstorm warning. We need to go back to the tornado warning first. We got to, I mean, look at this. Almost everyone is under a warning right now. Now, this tornado warning for western portions of Sheboygan County and into eastern portions of Fond du Lac County runs until 7 o'clock. So the area of rotation here is north of Kewaskum, and it is moving to the northeast at 40 miles per hour. So let's take a look first at the reflectivity, Stefan. Again, pick out your location here because it is very, very messy. This is why we often show rotation. This is the what we call reflectivity, or the radar that you get on your phone, right? And it's very messy across the area, so we've got to peel back the layers and look at the velocity here. But again, the rotation is north of the Kewaskum area right now, moving northeast. So that lines up with that tornado warning. We need to watch west of West Bend as well. But then we have other cells farther down to the south, possibly some large hail heading into portions of Racine County as well, southeast Waukesha, and into portion then with this cell right here, right along I-43, heading in. Okay, oh my goodness,
wow.
Look at that.
That's an incredible image.
So
clearly a rain shaft with this storm making its way on through.
Incredible. So we are looking from our Estabrook, that was our Estabrook Park Tower camera, and I believe, was that facing west-northwest? Yes, so that's facing west-northwest. So you're actually looking into the rain shaft here of the storm. This would be Capitol Drive right here. So you are looking right into the rain shaft. So this is where you are looking as we are looking essentially right into the city of Milwaukee up to the northwest. So northwest or north of Capitol Drive. And then we have another cell coming from the left-hand side of your screen. That's an incredible, incredible view.
It is.
Right there.
So some good news when it comes to the tornado warning. It's been trimmed back a little bit, the one that was in western Fond du Lac County. So some good news there. That tornado has been allowed to expire, but it is still ongoing for eastern Fond du Lac County and northwestern Sheboygan County.
And let's be clear on that here, that if you're in this red box, you need to be in your tornado-safe location. Basement, lowest level of your home, getting as many walls in between you and the outside as possible, okay? This storm, well, it's a messy one, has had a history of producing tornadoes. We have heard reports that in the Mayville area there was a tornado earlier from the cell. Now, the rotation has weakened a little bit out of this, but it is still, there you can see they have just cut back Dodge County. So, Mayville and up to just about the Lamira area, you are out of this now, and it is now in effect for just east of the interstate in Fond du Lac County, and then extending right up into western parts of Sheboygan County. Kewaskum, you are out of it as the rotation is now just up to your north. So Kewaskum, you're good to go from the tornadic end of this. Can we zoom in a little bit more stuff? I want to get into the Sheboygan County element of this here, because Plymouth, you are in this tornado warning. This goes from Plymouth effectively right down to the Linden area, over to Mitchell and points to the west. And again, this tornado warning continues here in effect until 7 o'clock tonight. So we've got 30 minutes left on this one here. And again, this is an area of rotation. Let's go ahead and take a look at the rotation with this so we can try to see kind of if it's spinning back up again. And let's see here, kind of get an idea. So here's Kewaskum. You can see it really fell apart.
It did.
Yeah, we can take this step by step, Steph, if we want, just to kind of see when it was back towards Lamira where we think it was still on the ground. Let's see here. It's this right here. So Greenbush, you're right in the path of this, but again, it's much weaker. My only concern is zoom into this right here, because this is going to be the same general area. I'll be interested to see. That might just be a blip on the radar, but if that continues into the next radar scan, that would be a bit more concerning. So again, here's Mitchell. We are southwest of Greenbush here into eastern parts of Fond du Lac County. This is what we're watching for. It's going to be this area to see if that rotation tightens. Hard to tell if, again, that could be a blip at this point, but we don't know. Can we go to the correlation coefficient, the damage?
Yes, absolutely.
I don't see anything pressing with that, so that's good. Now, no, I'm not seeing anything. Let's go back to the reflectivity, if we could, real quick, east of Kewaskum. I just want to take a quick look.
Let me turn this lightning off.
Yeah, I mean, it is possible that, yeah, I'm not too concerned. I mean, it's just very heavy rainfall at this point, and a lot of hail. Let's go to the hail tracker here as well, as we are continuing to get.
Yeah, there are multiple areas with very large hail, and our printer keeps going off. Maybe you guys are catching that on our microphones. 99% of the printouts we're getting from our printer are hail reports, and we're talking still very large hail reports from all across southeast Wisconsin. I'd say at least inch and a half size hail, but we have seen over 2-inch size hail in a handful of communities, and we're seeing viewer pictures, so they are accurate reports. Let's see, $half size hail from Lomira, that was from earlier. Can hear a few pings outside our station here in Brown Deer. So the hail continues.
Yeah, you can definitely hear it.
Most notable, though, we'll say southeastern Waukesha and then just southwest of the West Bend area, I'd say.
Yes, and Holy Hill. Do we still have hail shot? Can we take a quick look at that? Again, as we're doing this, keep in mind there's a tornado warning that continues for eastern Fond du Lac County, southern and eastern Fond du Lac County, into western parts of Sheboygan County. All right, I don't know, Cale, if you can, Cale, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Awesome. Where are you right now?
We actually we turned north. We're just north of Erin. We were looking at that storm that was right over Holy Hill, and now we're heading north.
Okay.
Excellent. And that, I mean, that cell has been a huge hailer, Cale. And that one, I mean, produced, when it was to the southwest of Erin, produced hail up to about tennis ball size in Ixonia. It looks like the hail has come down a little bit. Keep us posted here. I mean, it looks like you're getting right into the storm again. So keep us posted as you continue here, and please be careful. As you know, there's storms everywhere right now, and this is really, so we appreciate you being out in this here. Please be safe. Cale in the hail is very qualified to be doing this. So speaking of hail, we're hearing it again on our weather deck. So Steph, thanks for broadening this view out here. Severe thunderstorm here over our station, extending up into the Mequon area with hail. And then we have a particularly large hail potentially here in southeastern Waukesha County, as that is going to make its way right into Oak Creek, Greenfield, Greendale, Franklin, and eventually likely into downtown Milwaukee as well with this batch. And then we'll see what happens south of Rockford. If this activity, hopefully that stays south of the border, but we'll see that may end up clipping portions of Kenosha County. With time as well. So we're right in the thick of this in terms of the storms. We've got this one tornado warning where the rotation has weakened a little bit, but it has a history. It's this blob right here that has a history of producing a tornado in the Mayville area. And I've got to also mention, Stephanie, we need to pay close attention here west of Beaver Dam, southwestern Dodge County again, southern Jefferson County, because more cells are popping up.
And these are more of those isolated cells. And you mentioned this earlier, these might be along the actual front. So they do still pose a risk here when it comes to severe weather.
Right. The only thing we can hope is that maybe this batch out ahead of it will maybe weaken these cells, but we're not seeing that right now, right? And one of the issues could be, do you see these green lines? These are boundaries that have been left over from storm number 1 here. And these individual cells could feed off of these boundaries and could rotate, could produce hail, and we'll continue to see as they develop. But I just need to be clear here, because I know Mayville, you're going, we may have just gotten hit by a tornado here. You're not out of the woods yet. So please, Dodge County, pay close attention to those cells. We're watching, again, everything here very closely. I know there's a lot going on, and thanks for staying with us here as we kind of jump around, because we want to make sure that we're including everybody here. And even though the most dangerous storm of note right now is heading through Fond du Lac County and heading into western Sheboygan County. So let's take a look. Let's go to the hail real quick here
Yeah,
first.
and speaking of hail, Tom, the latest report from Waterford and Racine County, tennis ball-sized hail
You
causing
were kidding.
significant damage to vehicles in far western Waterford near the Walworth County border. So multiple reports of this huge hail. Unfortunately, this is just another one. And the threat continues as these storms once again continue to move eastward. But let's take a look at the latest hail tracker. Really, it doesn't seem like anything has changed. It's still across southeastern Waukesha County, as you can see, Tom, up towards the West Bend area. It looks like southeastern Sheboygan County, maybe a little bit more.
Let's go into that hail in southeast Waukesha County, because that's the Waterford hail, correct? That would be the Waterford hail from a few minutes ago.
Correct.
So we talked Ixonia, right, earlier with tennis balls. I mean, 2.5-inch diameter hail, Stephanie, is incredible. We have video of the Ixonia hail. Let's take a look at that. And then we're going to be tracking this hail core. So we'll get video of that Ixonia hail. We've been talking about this threat, right, of the hail. I mean, we have multiple threats going on, right? We have the tornado threat in western Sheboygan County now. We have the monster hail is probably the overarching threat in our area. Once we get that video, Michael, go ahead and pull that one up. So this is the same area that produced that monster hail and could still be producing very large hail into southeastern parts of Waukesha County. So yes, western suburbs of Milwaukee, even into downtown, this thing is going to hail all the way up into downtown. Greendale, Greenfield, Franklin, Oak Creek, the airport, up to downtown, New Berlin, West Dallas, all of these areas, you're in that hail zone here. And let's go ahead and pull back up the reflectivity, and there could be some more hail. Oh my goodness. Look at this. This is from Christie and Ixonia.
And coming down at a heavy rate.
Yep.
You can see the stones on the concrete almost cracking and then bouncing on the grass.
Cannot imagine how loud that was.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And many spots have dealt with similar conditions, unfortunately.
Yep. I mean, look at that. That is incredible. Just bouncing.
And so this was from earlier, but there are still at this time storms producing similar sized hail. And in particular, we just had that report from the Waterford area in western Racine County. Now, when we look at our hail tracker, that's pushing its way through southeastern Waukesha County. And as Tom just mentioned, this is moving northeast. So heads up, southwestern Milwaukee County for some big hail.
Just looking at, it's very interesting because the one that hit Waterford just blew up. I mean, in the Waterford area, and then, just to the west of Norway, and then it made its way right into southeastern, Muskego. I'll be interested to hear if there are any reports in the Muskego area, because that's where it is right now. Greenfield.
Well, look at it currently.
Yes.
With the latest scan.
Oh, and you're right. Look at that. It just updated. Yep. So this is Greenfield. This is Franklin. This is going to be the south side of New Berlin, Greendale. And in fact, one
right
of our,
over 41 here shortly, 94, just south maybe. This could be awful to drive through.
Yeah. One of our engineers who lives in Greendale just walked in, and he just kind of gave me the deer in the headlights look. I'm like, yep. That's your house too, because look at that, and it's expanding, Stephanie.
Right.
This hail core, this is going to be some big hail. Again, this is right on the Waukesha-Milwaukee County line. So this is going to roll right into West Dallas. This is going to roll right into Milwaukee, right over the airport. It's expanding here. This is some large hail. And again, this storm has a history of producing hail up to tennis ball size. Is it doing that now? It's possible. I mean, the signature is the same as it was over Waterford. Hopefully, it's come down a little bit. And something else to mention when it comes to hail, when we're talking about tennis ball sized hailstones, it's not, this is great. This is Heartland. Okay, so look at this. incredible hail from Marion, Heartland, and this emphasizes the point that I want to make here, which is when you're looking at these hailstones, in this case, these are probably about, oh, Mary, you, I don't know if that's you or maybe who that is, you're brave. You're brave to be out in that hail because that hurts. When that hail hits you, it hurts. So this looks like it's probably up to about the size of a quarter, maybe a little bit larger. But here's the deal. When you're talking about large hailstones, for example, like the one in Waterford at tennis ball size, we're not necessarily talking about every hailstone being tennis ball sized hail. So it would be 1 or 2 stones potentially that are as great as tennis balls. In this case, 1 or 2 might be to the size of quarters, maybe to the size of a golf ball, right? Then it qualifies as that type of hail. Does that make sense? So it doesn't have to be every single hailstone being that large. But yeah, 1 tennis ball or even golf ball sized hailstone is going to put a dent in your car. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So this was the threat that we have been dealing with here over the course. Now Muskego, okay, that just came in with 1-inch diameter hail in Muskego. Here comes the next warning, Steph, and this is for the rest of far southeastern Wisconsin, Milwaukee, Racine, and Kenosha. This is going to be a severe thunderstorm warning that is going to run here until 7:30 tonight, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-sized hail. So unfortunately, this is turning out as expected for us, and we're not done yet. We got to watch these cells off to the west. I'm sorry, Michael, go ahead. Okay, Ben Handelman is at the desk. Ben, what do you have going on
Tom,
there?
I want you to see this video. Kevin Winker just sent it in. Campbell Sport. This is the cell you were watching. They went through Mayville, and look at that massive storm cloud as it was moving through. So, yeah,
wow.
We're seeing, and we've got reports of damage in both Juno and in Mayville. The scanner reports, they are very busy. So, yeah,
okay.
Just as you guys reported. But, yeah, look at that new image coming from Kevin who says took this off his front lawn there.
Well, I'll tell you, it's hard to tell, but watch as it starts over again here. Do you see that little lowering right there? So you'll see it again, boom, right there in the middle of your screen. It's interesting to see because he was kind of in that zone.
Yeah, right out in front of where you were talking about, too.
Yes, and so that could very well have been a wall cloud that he encountered there. Hard to tell if it's spinning there or not. But yeah, that's in some incredible video there.
And they're in the dark in Campbellsport, 1,600 without power there. We Energies has almost 7,000 customers without power, but they don't cover a lot of areas in Dodge County, so the number is obviously a lot higher up that way as, yeah, the power outages, they're starting their eyes on us, Tom.
Can we take a look as well, guys, at our city camera right now? Thank you, Ben, and Kevin, thank you for sending this. We hope we're assuming you're safe since you sent us the video, and we thank you for that. And a scary scene. I mean, and these are scary scenes, obviously across southeastern Wisconsin. This is our camera right now from our Estabrook Park Tower camera. You see the lightning. We are looking to the west here. Again, this is the hail so it's coming from left to right here and kind of also coming out the screen as it's moving northeast. But let me explain as we look at this, and then we'll take a look again at do a warning recap for you here shortly.
That lightning.
Yes, coming to us from the National Weather Service. Again, this is the cell that you are looking at. So we are looking, this is a cluster of storms coming in, listen to that thunder, cluster of storms coming in from Waukesha County right now. And this is going to be just to the north of Hales Corners. And there's another hail core north of Norway in Racine County, and maybe another one right over Union Grove. So there are several hail cores with this, but this is certainly very, very loud, prolific lightning out of this one as well. Very heavy rain, but this, I mean, we have ping pong ball sized hail, Stephanie, coming into the city of Milwaukee right now.
Absolutely. In fact, let's go back to our hail tracker. It just keeps getting worse and worse. In fact, it's now even extending into northern Milwaukee County. The fact that there is the potential for some of this larger hail. Of course, it also extends down towards the south. You can see all of these little pockets of potentially large hail, but still the most notable is across now west central and southwestern Milwaukee County. So we've shown you the video. We've had the same messaging this entire time. Hail could very well be over an inch and a half in diameter. We've already had those over 2-inch reports in a handful of communities. So just be prepared that this is on its way in Milwaukee and Milwaukee County as a whole. Again, it's even, at least our hail tracker, signifying a little bit in northern Milwaukee County as well. So big time hail still tracking its way through Milwaukee County.
And let's talk here about Sheboygan County as well, because that's where the tornado warning continues. I was just off screen here looking at the tornado potential here in western Sheboygan County, and that is in effect until 7 o'clock tonight. You can see here it's rather diffuse. So in other words, you see when it was back closer to the Lamira area, Lamira, Campbellsport, and these areas where, again, a confirmed tornado did happen out of this cluster of storms. It's looking much more, okay, or diffuse, if you will. Now, the concern now, so I'll say this, western Sheboygan County, you're in your tornado shelter right now, and again, I know we're kind of jumping back and forth because there's so much going on here, but western Sheboygan County, there's still a tornado threat here. Granted, it does not right now appear to me that there may be there is a tornado on the ground with this. We have not received any immediate reports of that. But stay in your tornado shelter. I want to watch this area, I think, as well, because again, you're seeing a couple of reds dotted with the green here. Same thing over here in eastern Fond du Lac County. That's what we're dealing with here tonight when it comes to the rotation end of this. Is we are very concerned about these storms quickly perking up, right? And that's what happened in the Mayville and the Juno areas earlier. As we were tracking, just kind of losing steam, and then poof, it starts rotating again. So we're going to watch all of Sheboygan County very closely over the course of the next 30, 45 minutes to make sure that we don't see any perking up of this. But the tornado warning continues until 7, so stay tuned here, stay in your shelter until you know that that tornado warning is done. So again, that's the latest with the tornado warning. We need folks to stay in their shelter, but I'm not seeing anything too imminent, Stephanie, and I'm interested on your take as well.
No, I completely agree with you. I do still think we need to watch this area specifically with the fact that these have been pretty quick spin-ups and have quickly intensified, have a history of that across Dodge and southern Fond du Lac County. But I do agree that I think at the moment, I'm not terribly concerned looking at velocity. Let's go back to our reflectivity. Actually, here's a great picture of some very large hail. Wow, that is incredible. So clearly near or just over 2-inch size hail. And we already talked about that. We have seen this in multiple spots, Tom, across.
That's incredible. So that's, yeah, southeastern Dodge County. That's probably the same cell that we had with Ixonia, right? And then that moved up over to Holy Hill. That's incredible hail.
It is incredible hail.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that is, that's huge hail. So that right there is tennis ball size.
Absolutely.
About 2.5 inches in diameter. Wow,
and hopefully
Bryce,
it was just a few and not
right. And that's
widespread.
You know, well, I mean that's some pretty hefty damage you would have to assume with depending on how much of it fell.
Sure,
right?
exactly. Getting reports. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. Getting a report of also 1-inch in diameter hail in West Dallas now.
Okay.
So starting to see some of that in Milwaukee County.
Yeah, this is some decent hail in Milwaukee County that's coming through right now. My radar is starting to go off for this one in Dodge. I'm getting a little concerned. I have not peered into it yet, but we're not done. I know Dodge County, you've been through the ringer tonight, especially in the Juno area. Again, same thing here, Lake Country, you're getting in on some more storms. But again, for the moment, tornado warning, western Sheboygan County, severe thunderstorm warnings along the lakeshore communities, a lot of hail here. And this is what we mean as well. A lot of folks asked me earlier tonight and yesterday, is the lake going to save us, right? No, not in this case, at least certainly not from the hail. And thankfully, you know, we don't have any tornado warnings in the Milwaukee County area, but this is a lot of hail. And this is all the way down the interstate. I mean, look at this, all the way down 43, Stephanie, from essentially the Illinois border all the way up to Sheboygan. pretty incredible. And this is a lot of hail coming through with this.
Yeah, absolutely. And remember that severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Milwaukee, Racine, and Kenosha counties, eastern portions where that line is located right now, that does still continue until 7:30. So we still have active warnings in place even at this hour. And for some of that large hail, at least an inch in diameter and winds of 60 miles per hour.
And an inch in diameter in Kenosha as well. Here we are in West Bend. This is Cale and Jeff, who are in our truck here in West Bend. Boy, they're right in the thick of this thing, aren't they?
They are.
Let me pull up. Give me a moment here. In fact, Cale, let's go to you. I'll pull the radar up, do some analysis for you in West Bend. Tell us what you're seeing.
Yeah, we just got into some really, really heavy rain, and there was a couple of small areas of road flooding. What are we on, Jeff? What are we on? Highway 33 right now. We're going east right now, and there were a couple spots of road flooding. It's not too bad, but the heavy, heavy rain, we had to slow down because we could barely see anything.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, you're right in the core of this right now. Obviously, the very heavy rain, the light. Now you've got another cell. Just FYI here, in behind you with some hail southwest of Mayville, right over Juno. So keep that in mind too, that there's another one coming in behind it. Are you seeing any hail where you are? It looks like the hail core is just to your north.
No.
Okay.
No hail. We're actually going to turn north as soon as we can to see if we can get a shot of that storm that looks like it's over Horicon right now. Maybe get in position for that storm.
Yes, yeah. So that one is, right Juno, heading right into Horicon, and then up, sadly, into Mayville again. And speaking of Mayville, we are getting pictures now of tornado damage in downtown Mayville. What appears to be significant tree damage, barn damage, maybe some house damage as well. So we are going to effort those. Also hearing from the National Weather Service that the tornado warning, Fond du Lac, Sheboygan counties, is going to expire. So that's going to wait. Now a new report. So, okay, tornado warning to expire at 7. New report coming in. This is from Pleasant Prairie of half-dollar-sized hail on the south side of town. A new severe thunderstorm warning upcoming for Milwaukee County, and pea to dime-sized hail in Port Washington, courtesy of the Ozaukee County Sheriff's Office.
So a lot going on clearly still at this time. Look at this heavy rainfall. This is the Marquette Interchange in Milwaukee. Hopefully everybody's done commuting. I mean, we're nearing 7 p.m. This is usually past the prime commute time, but you can barely see you can't see from this vantage point. That's how heavy the rain is. There could be some at least small hail within this cell passing through Milwaukee as we speak. We hear the thunder, the hail, the heavy rain here at the station. We've got rain coming through our door here at the office, so you know the rain is heavy when that starts to happen. Just not great travel conditions, to say the very least. All through southeast Wisconsin. No, visibility is nearly zero, at least as we're looking through this camera from a distance.
That's incredible. Look at the Marquette Interchange here. New report, Lac La Belle. So this is 5 miles north of Lac La Belle. This is a significant report. Hail ranging from over a half an inch in diameter, which is very small, to greater than 2 inches in diameter, which would be almost tennis ball sized hail. Lasted approximately 20 minutes. Wind was generally from the west and south with strong wind gusts. Damage to vinyl windows. This is 5 miles north of Lac La Belle there, not far from Oconomowoc. Again, big time hail there. Let's just refocus here. There's going to be a new warning coming out for a severe thunderstorm. A lot of hail. Milwaukee County right now, a lot of hail. But the tornado warning, that is going to be going by the wayside here in the next 4 minutes. Again, that rotation has become more diffuse. So stay in your shelter if you're under this tornado warning for another 4 minutes. At 7 o'clock, you're good to go. Here's the new warning. Stephanie, why don't you take that one away?
Sure. New severe thunderstorm warning for Milwaukee County. So already, covered in orange here. It's just pretty much an extension. This is for, get this, golf ball size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. So we're talking the line from Mequon to Oak Creek. So essentially all of Milwaukee County here. And we showed you earlier the hail.
Yeah, you want to pull the
tracker.
hail up?
Yeah, absolutely.
Milwaukee County is lit up with the hail. Look at this.
And that warning goes until 7:45, by the way.
7:45, okay. I mean, all the way from Kenosha, northeastern Racine, stretching all the way right through downtown Milwaukee. Can we pull up our camera again? Any one of them, quite frankly, in the city. And let's take a look at whether it's the Marquette Interchange or
even the airport camera.
Yes, yeah, airport camera would be a good one. Down to Franklin. So yeah, this is rolling right over the airport and right through the heart of Milwaukee County here, with quite a bit of hail coming on through. Again, on the order of golf ball size. Think about that, just golf balls coming down from the sky. Oh my goodness, this is Estabrook Park,
wow.
Steph.
So once again, nearly zero visibility because of this storm rolling on through.
Yeah,
lots of lightning, heavy wind.
Let's stay on this here just for a minute. I mean, this gives you an idea here of why we've been making such a big deal about this, because the ingredients in the atmosphere, not only for hail, we've obviously gotten a report from earlier in downtown Mayville of a tornado that hit there as well. It got hot today in our inland communities, but even near the lake, and this is a lesson, right, for all of us, cooler near the lake doesn't mean no storms. Is this the airport now?
This is the airport,
wow.
which once
We're
again,
gonna have to trust
can't
you on
see.
that, right? Yeah. Wow. So here we go. I mean, you would have to think that, I don't know, guys, if we can look into that. You've got to think that they are stopping flights. We have not heard that, but it would be awfully hard to take off or land in weather like this.
Absolutely.
So maybe we should just check on that, see what the status is of flights there at Mitchell.
No major hail reports at this point from Milwaukee County, but again, this core is still making its way through.
Several flight delays.
Okay, makes sense.
Yep, no surprise there. At least these storms are moving, right? So that is good news. Why don't we go back? So that's the hail, again, in Milwaukee County, down into Racine County. Warnings continue here. Let's take you back to the reflectivity. As we're just about to 7 o'clock, that tornado warning is going away now for Sheboygan County and Fond du Lac County. So that is certainly good news. Once this line clears the area, which should be within the next 15, 20 minutes, that's going to take care of the real bad storms for everybody, right? I mean, everybody is getting hit with these tonight in our lakeshore communities. Now, we still have to watch these cells, and until these cells completely clear the area, and you can see how they're going over these little boundaries that were left from this storm. Once these clear over Lake Michigan, which will probably be about 8 o'clock, then we're going to be in the clear past that point. So we're getting there. But Milwaukee, you're right in the core of this right now. Steph, let's quickly go to the warnings just to show now that we're at 7 o'clock. We are officially tornado warning free. That is good news. That tornado warning has been allowed to expire on time. Western Sheboygan into eastern Fond du Lac counties. Now, as we go back from when that cell was in the Mayville and Juno areas, we do know that a tornado likely did hit Mayville tonight, and we are still efforting damage photos and reports, and we've heard of a lot of power outages, and we want to know what's kind of happened into southwestern Fond du Lac County as well. We had a Lamira camera just south of Lamira over the interstate that is disconnected now as that storm came through. So this has been obviously a very loud night, but you see all of the severe thunderstorm warnings that continue, and this is primarily for hail. We are getting gusty winds, but we do have hail, a lot of hail, and some very large hail coming through. Just say toss to Ben there. Ben, are you on standby there at the desk? What's going on?
Tom, I want to take you to Juno. This just in from Jeremy Miller, okay? Took this photo for us. This is North Main Street in Juno. We're teeing up the photo right now.
Okay.
I think we've got it, Michael, right? Okay, here we go. Look at this picture. Okay, we're going to try. What you're going to see, okay, there we go. There's some of the damage on Main Street. And from this picture, we're looking at Main Street. They've got lots of tree damage. I think that's the St. Mary's Church there, right there in downtown Juno. but it looks like this thing went right through Juno, because there is definitely some damage there.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And heartbreaking to see that. You hate to see any damage, at least from this vantage point, though. And if you see something different, let me know. It looks like tree damage.
Yeah,
right?
that's what I'm seeing too.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing a wire is hanging down in the street right there. And we have had reports in the Dodge County, both in Mayville and Juno, a lot of power lines are down. We got a lot of people in the dark in Dodge County right now.
Well, we can tell you, Ben, that we don't have these photos for air at this point, but it came through from law enforcement in Dodge County that in the Mayville area, there was quite a bit of tree damage. It looked like a barn may have been hit. And
potentially some home damage.
there could have been, yeah, it does look like there were some,
at least maybe some trees down into
onto
a
homes. Significant tree damage, though. I mean, significant in terms of, and you're seeing that too from that picture that came in from Juno. So, and it's tough because another storm is going right over that same area, right? So I think we're going to be a bit delayed in getting some of these reports until everything kind of clears out of the area. I will say this, at least from what we have seen so far, and again, it's very light on the damage reports at this point. From what we're getting, it appears that it's primarily tree damage, and hopefully it stays that way. And again, tree damage obviously is not good when you have trees on houses and trees on cars, but as long as we're not seeing roofs being blown off and things like that, hopefully we don't get those types of reports in. Maybe that's kind of the glass half full approach there. But again, I can't imagine how scary a situation like that is, because again, it blows through so quickly. So, we haven't had any reports of any injuries or anything like that. So that is certainly very, very good. Tornado watch continues until 10 o'clock. That'll be canceled early once everything moves out. But all the orange boxes are severe thunderstorm warnings, and those are going to run here for the next several minutes. I think it's going to be after 8 o'clock before everything clears out over Lake Michigan. Let's take another broad view, Steph, of the radar here and show you what's going on because, again, this line is nasty, and it's a big hail threat as it's pushing through. Again, Waterford, we had tennis ball sized hail. We've had tennis ball sized hail in Ixonia. We've had a lot of large hail into the north of the Lac La Belle area, into towards the Ashapin area as well from cells. So these are a lot of big time hailstones coming through. This main line is about to push out over Lake Michigan, although again, Mequon, Port Washington, Sheboygan, you're in this right now. We've seen a lot of lightning from out here on our weather deck as well. But then once this moves out, we have a little bit left to go here. So we can't be really resting here quite yet, because there is more coming through in terms of these individual cells. But you see back towards Madison and even southwest Dodge County, northwestern parts of Jefferson County, you are pretty much in the clear right now. So we're almost done with this. We've got maybe another hour at most to go, but this has certainly been nasty, Stephanie, as it's made its way through the lightning, the rain, the hail, and I think the hail and then the tornado, at least the one tornado that we can confirm at this point in the Mayville area, are the two big stories here so far tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And still ongoing, of course, at this hour. Hail is the primary threat from here near Lake Michigan, as well as very heavy rainfall and plenty of lightning. Just going to go down south to take a look at what we've got south of the Illinois state line, because remember, as Tom mentioned, that is still tracking towards the east-northeast. So Kenosha as well as Racine counties, you're still going to get in on some of that activity that is south of the Illinois state line. And then we do still have some of those pop-ups as well behind this main cluster, one moving pretty quickly actually through Waukesha County, another one you can see in northeastern Dodge County, and more of a cluster across Fond du Lac County. Those have cooperated so far. They're not strong, they're not severe. Hopefully they stay that way. I know, Tom, you mentioned earlier that hopefully this first batch of storms that went through could weaken these ones or take at least all of the energy from them. And it does appear that could be what's happening. And we're getting in a ton of hail reports again from Kenosha, over an inch. We've got Elmwood Park, over an inch, $half size hail, I should say. Oak Creek, quarter size, which is an inch in diameter. 2 separate ones from Oak Creek, and then Mitchell International Airport actually registering a wind gust of 61 miles per hour. So you just know this was again, just nasty storm that moved through. Looks like another report of maybe some tree damage in Wauwatosa, nothing significant though, so that's some good news there. But between the wind and the hail for these lakeshore communities, it's been a mess, to say the very least, over the last hour or so. Yeah,
it certainly has. Can we take another look here at our tower camera? And take a look, see, look at that. So you can see how, so we're looking to the west here, and this is wild. Obviously, we can now see, we have visibility, but you can see that that storm, that line, is starting to move out. So what you're doing is you're looking to the west. So the storm, look at those lower clouds on the right-hand side of your screen. That's the tail end of that line that's pushing towards the camera and then out over Lake Michigan. So Lake Michigan's behind us here as we're looking. So brighter skies ahead here, and I think by 8 o'clock we're going to be looking good. We'll stay on with you here for just a little bit longer until the storms clear out over Lake Michigan. Yeah, let's take a look. Michael, let's, did you say take a look over the Hone Bridge?
Okay.
Ooh, wouldn't want to be driving over the Hone Bridge right now.
Windy, heavy rain pushing its way on through. But yes, like you mentioned, Tom, looking out west, we're now getting pictures of rainbows because behind this main line, the sun is coming right back out.
Yeah. Yeah, see, look at that. You can see, I mean, we couldn't see this a few minutes ago, remember?
No, we could not. The rain was so heavy.
Yeah, so we, you know, again, it looks like we still have multiple severe thunderstorm warnings in effect. Hales Corners had a little bit of hail, about 3/4 inch in diameter, so that would be somewhere in the penny-sized range. But again, it looks like, you know, Sheboygan, yeah, Port Washington, Sheboygan, you're in it right now. In fact, you're in the thick of this as we speak. Milwaukee, the worst of it is going right out over Lake Michigan as we speak. So we still have warnings that are in effect, severe thunderstorm warning in Milwaukee County until 7:45, but I think the worst of it is just about out over Lake Michigan. Folks in Greendale, Greenfield, Franklin, hopefully you made it through without too much of large hail. We haven't gotten too many large reports for you at this point, or really any. So if you had some, let us know and submit those reports into us. But hopefully, again, everyone came through this mainly all right. But the hail has really been a big deal here. Sheboygan, I know it's loud for you. The good news is no tornado warning for you, so that's good. But you still have some hail. Let's take a look at the hail again here, Steph, because that's really the big story. We did have that 61-mile-per-hour wind gust in Milwaukee. So yes, it has been windy, but there you see the hail cores. Looks like heaviest here, Milwaukee County into Racine County and just offshore in Kenosha. So we're still dealing with some hail here as that storm continues to move out over Lake Michigan. But again, those other cells off to the west look like we're getting a bit better in terms of we're not seeing those significant hail cores that we did earlier. So that is certainly good news. So I think the worst of this is just about done for Milwaukee. We'll have to still track these storms through about 8 o'clock that have developed off to the west. Sheboygan, you're going to be in this here for a while yet as well, probably for about the next half an hour with some heavy rain, lightning, thunder, and some hail. And again, just a couple more cells that are not severe back in behind this. So let's take another look at the warnings real quick. In fact, why don't we go down the list, Steph, and just go through the time frame here real quick with the severe thunderstorm warnings that continue in effect. And this is Sheboygan County until 7:45. That remains in effect until 7:45 for Ozaukee County, Milwaukee County as well. So just over a half an hour from now, 35 minutes. And then Racine and Kenosha counties are in effect here until 7:30. The tornado watch is in effect until 10 o'clock tonight, but I think that that's all going to be let go probably a little after 8 o'clock tonight once we get those other cells out over the lake. But look at this. I mean, tornado warnings up into the northern part of the state as well. We're not alone in this tonight, that's for sure. Let's take a final view of the radar, Steph, and then I think what we'll do, unless I hear differently, I think we'll be safe here to go back to regular programming, but I'll let our control room make the decision on that as far as if you want us to stay on longer or if you want us to toss back to regular programming at this point. I think we're getting safer to do so. Look at how the line is strengthening, Steph, out over the moisture-rich waters of Lake Michigan. So it's going to be certainly a light show out over Lake Michigan, Sheboygan, and Port Washington. You're seeing the worst of this now. And okay, thank you, Howard. And Milwaukee is again starting to dry out. So we'll be monitoring the rest of these cells here over the course of about the next